Alright, so we got this S10 cab coming off. It might not look safe, but I'm being real safe. I don't want nothing falling on me. But all we gotta do is jack the front of this up good, and we can get this cab off. I thought I'd show you guys a little trick. Whenever you got a cable with them little fingers on it right there, that locks in. If you'll take a wrench, a 12-point wrench that fits the end good, you run that wrench down the cable and push it all the way on there, which is hard to do with one hand. The wrench will mash all those fingers down where it'll pull out. It has to be a 12-point, 6-point won't work. But you get a wrench that fits good. You know, all the it'll mash all these fingers down to where you can pull it out. Cool little trick I learned a long time ago. Works really good. So, like I said, we got brake lines unhooked, steering column's unhooked, the wiring harness is unplugged from the back of the fuse box. And you guys that don't know, the wiring harness on these vehicles, this is the engine harness. This is the tail light harness right here. And this is the headlight harness. So it's all split up where it's easy to get figured out and everything. And I just saw one thing I didn't get. This little relay right here, got to unhook it. And she's ready to come out. So we're going to finish jacking this thing up so we can roll this chassis out. Alright. Alright, so we got the cab off this S10. You see the 46 in the background on its factory chassis. And we got the S10 chassis here, and it's ready to go in the shop and pull the 2.8 5-speed out of it and get it ready to mock up my drive line and my cab. So like I said, we're going to push this thing up in the shop, get the motor out, and start getting ready. Alright, so I got this chassis up in the shop, got the motor pulled out of it. Got a T5 in it. Might do something with that. But so we'll get this this thing ready and start mocking up some stuff. Probably put. Alright, so I got the frame cleaned up under the motor here on the cross member, and a little bit on the side, just to show that it can clean up real good. We're going to mock this thing up. We're going to tear it back down, and we're going to clean everything up, paint it, rebuild the front suspension. We're going to these S10s with the leaf springs, they will hop real bad with a V8. So I'm going to 4-link this thing with coilovers. That way We won't have any issues with wheel hop. We got the big rear end to go in here with disc brakes on it. These are the S10 conversion mounts. I have some mounts, the frame mounts, the 2.8 frame mounts. I got some custom mounts with poly bushings in them. But I'm not going to put them in until we get everything cleaned up. We're going to mock up with these mounts right here. There's no need to change them right now. It's easier to get to the bolts. These frame mounts here got nuts on the back of them. The second gens, the nuts are welded in the frame, so these are a little more difficult to get to, but they'll be easy to get to with their front suspension tore down, so that's when we're going to do that. We're going to get our motor. We've got a GM muscle pan to go on it, so we'll put our cam in, get our oil pan on. I'll show you all that. And we got new lifters and all that good stuff. We're gonna probably just mock the heads up for now, because I hadn't decided if I'm gonna port them yet or not. But we'll probably just mock the heads up, bolt the transmission to the motor and set it in, mock that up, and then get the cab in here, bolt the fenders on, and figure out. I know we got to cut our front frame rails. I think we got to cut it right about here, right even with the steering box. So we'll get that done. Figure out what we got to do with the radiator supports. So we can mount the fenders on it and figure out, where the cab needs to go, and get started working up the cab mounts. We'll also get the bed on here and see about the bed height, because we'll probably raise the bed floor so that the truck will sit the way we want it to, and get the body lines to match up. But like I said, that's what the mock-up stage is all about. But hopefully it won't take too long to get everything mocked up and start fabbing up some mounts. But that's where we're at right now. I'm gonna run these things. The tank factory actually goes right here, up underneath this cross member here. And what it does is it makes it a kind of a headache to mount up the exhaust. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put a S10 Blazer tank in the back. So this cross member's probably got to come out, and we will put another cross member in the back of this frame once we get the gas tank position and everything worked out. And 4-link on the rear end with the 8.5, the 5.3 with the ASA grind cam, and then the MV3500. And the 3500 that we're running in this truck came out of a full size. It's not an S10 transmission, so the shifter position is going to be a slightly different from the S10, and hopefully it'll work out good for the truck. I'm going to mount the pedals. I'm going to try to use a stock pedal assembly, and they're going to mount on the frame, so they'll come up instead of being swinging from the underneath the dash. And the master cylinder will be bolted on the frame. So there won't be anything on the firewall. And we're going to use a stock steering wheel and a stock steering column. Like I said, my plan, I want this thing to look like it just come out of a barn after 50 years. I want it to look on the outside and on the inside stock. But it's going to sit low, and of course it's going to have the modern driveline, 4 disc brakes, power steering, independent front suspension, 4-link in the rear, and it's going to be just a fun truck to drive. So that's the plan. Stick around. We'll show you as we go. Hopefully it won't be long before we got everything sitting on here looking like a truck. That way we'll have a little bit of motivation, and you guys can have a little bit of eye candy or whatever to look at, so you can see what we're going after here. So stick around and we'll show you as we go.